right, we're doing some mock simulations today, man, and really trying to get at what the draft could be shaped around and what it could end up being with so many unpredictable factors to factor in. What's up, it's your boy Cintron, come back to another analysis slash news video, and I kid you not, that's my real name. And I'm excited about this damn mock draft because, man, it's the season for the reason, because the reason is the season. I know, it don't make sense. It ain't bars, but I just want to say it. Anyways, we're jumping to the mock draft and seeing where the NFL draft could go with some curveballs thrown in there. We've included some trades, but in this draft, we didn't. We just controlled all 10 of the teams picking and then showed a few of the subsequent picks, to show some of the fallout that might happen. So the Panthers go with Bryce Young. I mean, that's the consensus pick. They kind of wavered, waffled back and forth a little bit on who they should pick, but I think they solidly have their guy, and that's who they go with. The diminutive quarterback out of Alabama at 5'10", 204. But, he has the intelligence, ace, the IQ part of the test, and has some of the intangibles as well. But will he hold up physically? That's the only question. All right, the Texans eschewing a quarterback to go with Will Anderson here. So they go with, the future potential All-Pro, maybe Pro Bowler, and throw a curveball with now people clamoring for quarterbacks. They're like, they could drop, and they wanted to trade up. So we see Jalen Carter going here back-to-back with the Cardinals, like back-to-back D linemen, and they take advantage of him being there. Just decide that, since Will Anderson isn't there, they go with the next rated guy on their board, and this causes a lot of things to happen. It causes some players to be elevated, but also there's more their quarterbacks available, so teams are going to be trading up, and but let's just say that things just fall in sort of order. CJ Stroud is the next quarterback to come off the board. The Indianapolis Colts can't believe that in this dream scenario that he fell to them. Luckily, there were some shenanigans going up ahead of them, and they decided to pick him. So they get their guy, and they didn't even have to move or trade any draft capital like they may end up doing with the Cardinals, and switching picks would still cost them a boatload just to even move one pick. That's what it costs to move in the move up, even your next door neighbor in the top 5. All right, Tyree Wilson falls to the Seahawks here. They gladly take him. It's not Jalen Carter like they may have hoped for, but they still get a highly talented rushing pass rusher, DN here, and the uber talented, uber athletic Tyree Wilson. All right, Devin Witherspoon falls to the Lions in a dream scenario. They'll be happy to snatch turn in the card and snatch him up here at number 6. Next, Christian Gonzalez. They kind of go with the kind of typical Raiders pick here. Traditionally, a size, speed, weight ratio guy, 6'1", weighs about around 200, but I think about $197, runs a 4.38. A talented guy out of Oregon, who transferred in from Colorado, had 4 picks, and he hopefully settles in at one of those corner positions. Next in the draft, the Falcons, like Will Levis, all the quarterbacks end up getting, except for Anthony Richardson, end up going in the top 10. It's interesting here. You could see that they as good as they might, as sold as they might be on Desmond Ritter. This guy, he's talented. He's coming in. He's seasoned. He's a senior coming out in this draft, and he has a live arm. He could provide a lot there in Atlanta, and they just go ahead and snatch him up instead of waiting for next year potentially and seeing what Desmond Ritter has. So a little bit of a curveball there, but a solid investment being made by the Atlanta Falcons, which you can see here. There are a lot of people available. So Chicago Bears, a lot of positions they could have. Jalen Carter's off the board, but they end up going with Peter Skoronski here, a tackle that they have so many needs across the board to chiefly to protect Justin Fields. So they decided to go with the tackle out of Northwestern. Could also play in the interior, so could be guard center for them. They can move around, shift some pieces, and the Eagles get Bijan Robinson, which I'm happy with. A lot of people may be upset with this pick, but hey, It allows us to draft generational talent at 10. We don't have to move. Um, there could be some scenarios where he's gone. Maybe Atlanta pick him. I think they're the only person in aiming for him. They could be aiming for him in the top 10. You could say the Lions, but that's way too early, I think, for them to comfortably take him. Or he proceeds to fall. Who knows? But you can see here, Jackson Smith and Jibba, he's picked. I thought I was gonna get him with the Texans, but the Titans deem him worthy of the pick. Surely, smallly outside of the top 10, but yeah, they go ahead and make that move. So I went here with Anthony Richardson just for the hell of it, and just to see what would happen if with the draft if things fold out a different way. So Kalijah Kancey ends up going here with the Green Bay Packers. Some is too big of a value, and then the New England Patriots, you can never predict what they're going to do, go with Myles Murphy. So an interesting top 14 here. This is the first draft we did, but you can see that some of the guys, they're still like Paris Johnson, they haven't been touched, as well as Wright, the tackle, and then is the other tackle, Jones, out of Georgia, the redshirt sophomore, I believe. He's still available. So all this calamity in the top 10 creates a plethora, a glut of guys that are being available. And this is just the first draft that we did. We did a couple more. So let's look at draft number 2. So we went with a different, you can see there's a trade there included. We went with a different draft here with PFF's draft simulator. And let's see what happens. So Bryce Young, he's consistent. He's going to go number 1 in every draft. Here, Jalen Carter, the Raiders trade up. I would have had them picking a quarterback here, but this is what the AI did. So, I mean, this is just throwing a curveball, but Jalen Carter, he could go that high. He could be wanted, but I seriously doubted that the Raiders would trade up for him. I thought they would, go up and get C.J. Stroud, so that would, throw a curveball there. And that would change a lot of these picks as well, but just for the, sake of it, just go with it. Will Anderson, he falls to the Cardinals, they take him. C.J. Stroud, he falls to the, the Colts, they would take him as well, but maybe I would think they would go with maybe Will Levis here, and that also would affect things. Tyree Wilson, a talented, he falls again to the Seahawks, and they take him. Anthony Richardson being, pursued here by the Lions, so a surprise pick, and that is got to affect a lot of things, below. We'll see how it does, but yeah, so like in the top 7, 4 quarterbacks gone, almost top 5. I mean, that's crazy. Will Levis, I selected him, I think, with the with Texans. I might not have selected him, but he'd be a good pickup for them as well. Christian Gonzalez goes to the Falcons. Paris Johnson goes to the Bears. They have a good pick here, so like they decided to go with him here. Bijan Robinson, obviously I picked him. Broderick Jones, man, a great pick for the Titans there. Jackson Smith and Jibba, I messed up because I traded with the Packers. We got a number 2, a second round pick in exchange for that. So I was like, yeah, great deal, but they must want someone really badly and actually fits right with the Packers what they want. So kind of in the projected area he would go. But then Myles Murphy, we go with that guy since we got our quarterback. You go with it, a talented edge rusher. I don't think he's going too early. He's could be an underrated actually pickup here. And then the Patriots capitalize on Devin Witherspoon's falling this far because the Lions, who likely would have taken him, create a windfall for them here. So the Patriots, select him. Skoronski goes at top 15, but the Jets are glad to have him. But you can see here a lot of guys kind of being affected by this free fall here. And every draft I'm going to go with Ade. I love him, and how he does too. So we'll see how that goes. But you can see there's a draft trade. Traded with the Raiders. The Texans got they swapped picks, number 7. Then they got a second rounder. They got a third rounder, and they got I think a 5th or 6th rounder, and Josh Jacobs. So they can pair him with Damian Pierce. So I don't know who's gonna. Damian Pierce would take the the back seat. But man, that would be a hell of a pairing. But they were willing to concede him and get Jalen Carter. So I mean, it's just quite interesting. But the Texans get quite a bit of draft ammo to add to their stock of picks. So they could package some of these and trade back as well. So I mean, there's a lot of different ways this could fall out. So that was just the fallout of that draft. This draft here had crazy number of trades. We did draft number 3, and let's get into this one. So Bryce Young, like I said, he's gonna go number 1 in every draft. I had more traditional pick here. C.J. Stroud going to the Houston Texans, and then the Raiders, they trade up again here with the Arizona Cardinals, who stepped down to number 7. You can see here they're still in the top 10, and they step down and maybe still get a guy they want and get a heavy amount of draft capital, because like I said, it ain't cheap to move up in the top 10, or even moving to the top 5, even if you're out on a small outlier from that position. Will Levis goes to the Colts. I had them pick him because I'm like, they could go with a quarterback. So you can see 3 quarterbacks go in the top 5. Will Anderson, dream pick for the Seahawks. That he falls to them. But Jalen Carter, I would want to believe that he falls here to number 9 or so, or he goes to the Falcons. I don't know if they're gonna go interior though. But again, the Raiders just hungry for some Jalen Carter. Christian Gonzalez, he goes to the Lions. It could have been Witherspoon, but they just decided to go to Christian. So who knows? Tyree Wilson, a dream pick there for the Cardinals. They get, like I said, all that draft capital, and they get a top 5 talent in edge rusher. Yeah, the wings are just fierce out here, just like these trades. Broderick Jones going to the Falcons, who need some protection to try to protect Ritter. So they, instead of going with the quarterback, and Anthony Richards, I don't think they would be in on him. So they shipped out. The Jets trade up into the top 10 with the Bears. They give the Bears a little bit of more ammo to to move in this draft. And then Bijan Robinson, here he goes to the Eagles. I picked him, because I'm just gonna pick him every time. I want him. Could add so much to the offense, firepower, take it to the next level, evolve it, shift the NFC schism. All right, he's about Darnell Wright being kind of overdrafted here. Yeah, I mean, I just like that position for him. I mean, I don't like. Well, no. You can see with some tackles going early, with some people trading up. This just shift, like I said, becomes a run on tackles. You see, within 1, 2, 3, 4 picks, 3 of the tackles are gone. So I mean, things could shift very severely. And I think this is the craziest draft, but it shows that there's gonna be a lot of schisms and diversions from the Thanos reality we thought we had. Things could easily change. I had the Texans again, so I made sure I got Jackson Smith and Jibba here because I didn't want. I had an offer, but I knew the team trading. I think it was the Packers. I'm sure they want him. So once they didn't get that, they accepted a trade with the Saints, who were moving up from 29 to get Miles Murphy. Like I said, I wasn't too wrong on Miles Murphy. He goes, here. I had the Texans picking him at 12 or 13 last time, so he still goes in the 13th slot here, just by the Saints, who traded up, and the Packers go down, but they get some draft ammo. Lucas Van Ness goes to the Patriots. They all draft days pick different people. It just shows the randomness of the Patriots. Bill Belichick, you can't predict him. He's unpredictable. Jordan Addison, it's kind of a surprise pick. This would really be a weird pick for the Chicago Bears, who have a solid trio of receivers. Anthony Richardson here going to the Washington Commanders. I won't say Redskins out of habit, but they get a quarterback that precipitously falls because of other it's a domino effect, shifts and scheming happening, and it just causes so many things to fall into place for teams and then fall apart for others. Peter Skoronski, man, falling here to number 17. Wow. And you can see some of the more predictable picks. Devin Witherspoon here going to the the Ravens being a personal preference before Deontay Banks, I'm like, I don't see that happening. I can see those two easily being swapped, but man, he's being the third or fourth corner going here, and then Keely Ringo going early to the Bills, and then Joey Porter being the fifth. This is crazy. This draft is threw me for a loop. I really love this one. Bijo Olari here going, they get the guy that they wanted, and they get so much in return, and don't even have to, they stay in the same original spot that they traded with the Saints with. And then, like I said, Ade Tomiwa, Adebawori, the guy I want. Then Brian Branch ended the round here. But this one was a dynamic draft. So let's look at some of these trades. All right, so the Cardinals traded with the Raiders. I just accepted it, even though I was like, this is a low compensation. Jacobs ain't worth all that. I said compensation, but realistically, they're probably giving up a day 2 pick. So could be a second round this year, and then most likely a combination of day 2 and day 3 picks in 2024. So they're not going to get off this light. And then the Bears and the Jets trade here. The Bears get number 15 and a second round pick. This is also light compensation. They most likely will get also 2024 picks included. But I don't think this draft simply doesn't allow you to do that. PFF has the best one, but I'm not paying to access that. So, all right. Trade details here. The like I said, the Packers received quite a bit. But realistically, they would get more. They got an O lineman, a starter, Ruiz, good center, and they got number 2, and they switched number 1 pick. So that's light compensation. They would get at least a couple day 2 picks between this year and next year. So this one just had a crazy amount of trades. So I love this one. But let's look into some news around the league. So not a lot going on here. Brian Burns, the Pro Bowl edge rusher for the Carolina Panthers, undergoing surgery. We'll see how that goes. Green Bay Packers here. They have traded Aaron Rodgers to the Jets, man. And it was right in the wheelhouse as far as competition goes, what I said before. So they switched first round picks this year. So they gave the 13th overall pick for the, they get the 13th overall pick for in lieu of their 15th overall pick. So they move up 2 spots, and they give up a 5th rounder for but they get back a 6th rounder this year, a 2nd rounder this year, and a conditional 2nd rounder next year that could become a 1st, which most likely will, because Aaron Rodgers is a future Hall of Famer. He's probably going to play in tennis. So I said it was going to be like a 2 and a 2 or a 2 and a 1, because they swapped first round and some of that. Those cancel out, so it's all about the extra picks. But great pickup, for them to surround talent around Jordan Love there in Wisconsin. And the Jets don't give too much, but they're really betting the farm on trying to compete now. And I'm like, I feel like this is just the wrong era for them to try to compete in the AFC, which is just stacked. But hey, you'll see how it goes. Ashawn Robinson, a beefy pickup on the interior of the line for the Giants. Won't matter against the Eagles, so we signed officially Tyree Jackson, the former quarterback converted to tight end, has monster measurables as far as physically goes, to the roster, and cut Marquise Blair, who's like a practice squad player. So, and Tristan Wirfs' 5th-year option gets picked up, which is just a no-brainer. All right, so a couple things around the league. There's some trades starting. Like I said, the winds are swirling, just like outside my door or window. Number 2 being up for sale. That's why I kind of highlighted in the mock draft. Dallas going all in on the offense. So there's so many things that we could see. The GM actually. So KGB, the non-spy, came out and looked like a liar. Like he had egg on his face talking about the Derrick Henry trade was going to happen from the Titans to the Eagles. It could happen post draft. Okay, cool. He'll be vindicated if that happens. But right now, he just looks like he was saying something on his, and I'm not sure. I'm sure he wasn't just talking. He maybe knows somebody, but spoke too soon. A case of that. But we never know what's going on. So no trade calls received for Derrick Henry. Just speculation, wild and rampant speculation at this point. All right, the Chargers GM says he doesn't think the Austin Eckler situation will alter the draft, so they're kind of just going in just with the idea that either they can trade him, they can cool, but he's trying to get that $10 million a year. It's been tough. He's a veteran. He's a pro in this league, but he's an older back, smaller, not injury prone, but he can be taken out because he's a smaller guy, and it just shows the going rate for running backs in this league. They're not highly valued, and it's going to be hard for him then to move him for the desired price that he wants. And Anthony Richards saying that he's an alien as a player. Bruh, no. You're biblical. You're either going to be heavenly good and angelic good, godly good, or you're going to be close to earth like a serpent on your belly, and that ain't too good for you, bruh. All right, a couple things we're going to look at. Man, Jalen Hurts, man. This guy, after he signed, he had his first official press conference. He said, yeah, sure, having the money is nice, but championships are better. Like, just that pedigree. I mean, he's had so many instances where he said, quotable material. He's had quotable material, said quotes that, man, make sense and show the maturity that belies, a 24-year-old, which is just mind-boggling, at his age. But he's a man with wisdom beyond his years. And for him to say that, you just tell, he's putting the team first, even though he's the highest paid player right now. And will eclipse soon, but in the NFL, he is the status quo. He's the highest paid right now. And, but, he wants to be able to build a team around him. He said it won't change anything. He's still going to work hard. He's going to be the first in the building and last out. He's trying to work and evolve in this season. He's putting in the work, the hours. Even if he had surgery, he doesn't let that deter him. He's going to gather the guys around for that unofficial training camp with the receivers, trying to get acclimate to them and get timing and stuff down. He's just the leader that you dream of, and he puts in the work. So he's like, I'm going to continue to evolve and get better and mature and grow. And he's like, I just have a hunger, a want to get, better, to improve, to exhaust my options in the upward mobility category. And with that, man, you feel so safe and secure with having this guy for the next 5 years, and hopefully beyond that. He's gonna max out that deal, probably get those incentives and more. So, hats off to him. Proud to have him, and let's can go, man. All right, so like JSN rumors are also spread that we're gonna take a receiver, and like we don't even have enough snaps. We already have number one, Devonta Smith and AJ Brown competing for snaps. And then Quez Watkins struggled in his role number 3 last year because just limited, maybe 50 or so targets. And then we brought in another guy who could potentially take Quez's job, and then you drafting this guy at number 10, or just say we trade back, and he's not going to last that long because he's a consensus number 1 receiver. It's a weak receiver draft. There's not going to be enough space for him. And then receiver has a learning curve as well. We want an impact player now, which is how he said, even though it could be a little bit of subterfuge, a little bit of misdirection. Like, we'll see. But, yeah, he's not going to come in and, it just causes a headache. Another mouth to feed that, we don't even have a plate for. We got to, scrape and take from someone else's plate. So, just not feasible. Doesn't make sense. Even though, people say, 2 or 3 years, 2 or 3 years we'll have to pay Smitty, and then next year we could draft a receiver because we're having one come out. Quez will be gone. I'm not gonna extend him. So that's that. All right. Speaking of rumors, it's that time of the year for smoke screens and subterfuge, which can be very useful. Yeah. So much has come out this year already about us doing this and doing that when we have no fucking idea what the fuck is going to be happening, what's going on. Yeah, I mean, about Eagles wanting this player and that player, and it's all misdirection to, our true intentions to hide, what we truly want. People saying that Van Ness is, is going to be the pick, and it makes sense, and it's like, he's a limited player, just a bull rusher, only exclusively, mostly, at this point in his career. Too early to take him, at number 10. And for that level of edge rusher, we can find him a little bit later in the first round. We could trade up if you wanted to, but in the 30, I mean, he's comparable to, I'd say, for me, he's a second-round talent. He came out early. He could have used another year seasoning where he could add some pass rushing moves. But, I mean, there's so much. I mean, Derrick Henry, running back, and then I think it's a receiver, defensive lineman, offensive lineman. Where are we going to go? We have no clue. This is what makes the draft so exciting and titillating. All right, but the NFC is scared of the potential Bijan Robinson addition. Several teams, according to a report by one Mr. Palmer, said that they're scared that the reigning NFC champs could add Bijan Robinson and just take this offense to another level. He can fill in the slot, get some receptions there, mitigate the need to lean on a slot receiver, run routes just like a receiver, has soft hands, can expand his array of the route tree a little bit, but he's a natural hands catcher. It's just amazing the versatility he has, and then he won't be forced to strain himself and rely on. I mean, he can do broken tackles, but he can trust his scheme, follow the blocks and be patient. That patient running style that he has. I mean, yes, it's kind of a byproduct of his environment with the average O-line that he played with, but man, to see him behind this O-line and paving way for him, and he can contact people, just a thing of beauty. So I mean, there's so much potential there. They're scared that of what we could do, and how unstoppable this offense would truly become. You can't just with Miles, you pay him attention, but he can create. He can create on his own. Bijan can, and he can move the pile. He's going to lower his head and get those yards and then wriggle free. He's so shifty. Even before the contact, he's seeing where the holes go. He's like a Miles if Miles was not just looking to make every carry a home run. So I mean that style just suits us all the more. So we can lean on the run even more and lean less on the non-traditional RPO offense. So, I mean, but don't take my word for it. All right, the Eagles rumored to be trying to trade up from 10. So, I don't think this is feasible because it's just too much draft capital to do that. And we're already limited in this draft with 6 picks already, and 2 of them are 7th rounders, which is garbage. They're worth nothing. So we'd have to borrow from Peter to pay Paul, and by way of next year's draft, which is just, even though we have 12 picks, I know Howie doesn't love the idea because he's an actual GM that values future picks at the same level that they are, not a round below like most GMs do. So it just, yeah, I mean, that'd be cool, but in consecutive years, we'd have to sacrifice that number 30 pick, and I don't. Unless it's just some kind of dream scenario. I don't see how he's doing that. I think you want to use that pick as well to trade down and smartly get a player that we were already targeting anyways. 3 or 4 in the bunch that around that 30, late first round, to early second round area, and then recoup some middle round draft picks. And the last thing we're going to talk about here today, the Eagles are also rumored to want Nolan Smith. I mean, so just go back and look over this list and look. There's too much. Too many areas encompassed. It's overflow. So that means something has to be a fucking lie. Something has to be misdirection. Something has to be. All this is creating a condensated cloud. It's not clear at all. So where is it gonna? Where is the punch gonna come from? Left, up, down, right, above, sideways? You can't tell right now. but that's the way it kind of. I mean, but that's ideal. This is the ideal perfect storm we want to be in, unpredictability. So I mean, wanting Nolan Smith, sure. I mean, but I just don't see it. Like he's a mirror image almost. He's just faster, but lighter of Hassan Reddick, and we don't want two guys on the edge. We need a Brandon Graham replacement. We need a 235 guys. Even if he gets at the edge, he's just too light. We need. I mean, that's why Ade Baore would be perfect for me. 280, and then he's almost as fast as this guy. Dream, and then he can have interior presence as well. He played in 200 plus snaps in the interior. He can hold up. He's 280. A legit third round NASCAR package pass rusher. That is the size of a D tackle, but runs like a corner. Crazy. But anyways, we're in the video here. You're not even watching though, but it's all good because as always, it's fly Eagles fly and let's motherfucking go. Like, comment, share, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching. Check me out at Cintron, Cintron Anime, Cintron Life, or Cintron Laughs, or other social media.